Well, we'll get started a little bit early here. Get a new mic check. As you can see, I am properly outfitted with a completely pretentious microphone and pop guard. So hopefully I've got all the trappings necessary to to make this work out well tonight. I haven't dialed everything in though, so I'm going to let my audience here help me out. Oh no, I could use my portable monitor. I could hook that up as a third monitor proper. Yeah, absolutely. I just don't really have any more desk space for it. I'd have to move the deck or something. Or maybe put a monitor up here, you know, be like NORAD. So let's see here. So tell me, Womp Rats, do you how's my audio checking out? My levels look good, but with this new microphone, it's really hard to tell. Peace and love, peace and love. Okay, thank you. Okay, there we go. It's a little bit louder. How's that? Is that any better? Do I still seem low? Clear, sounds fine, just a bit low. Yeah, it also has to do with where the microphone is and probably some other crap. Let me see here. Okay. Let me see if I can boost this thing a bit. I don't usually boost, but let me see if I can. Hello, hello. You say goodbye, and I say hello. All right, I'm going to keep boosting here. At least I can get in the yellow. Give me some of the yellow. Could probably also get this just a little bit closer too. How's that? I'm definitely in the yellow now. I have to remember all this stuff. Make a profile for it now. Okay. Hey, Gus. What's up, brother? Long time no see, man. Gus is my my visual partner in several of my endeavors, like Dino Eggs and some other good stuff. Okay. So I'm popping into the red here a little bit. Everything's good now. As soon as you hear me say, I believe Louisiana is the Pelican State, that should be my final audio mix. So put that in the chat that you hear it, and we'll be ready to start this thing up proper. Lighting's a little low too. Oh, it's good now? Okay. Let me see if I can get myself a bit more lighting. There we go. That looks better. I don't know how it's coming out on the other end, but it looks good in OBS, so life is good. All right. What are you up to these days, Gus? I never hear from you anymore. You still listening to passenger seat radio and all that good stuff? Gus is also responsible for a lot of the great artwork that you saw on the Retro Gaming Radio discs, right? He developed the cover for that and some of the in-app graphics. So pretty cool. Too bright? Okay. It's really hard to tell. There we go. I'll knock it down a notch. How's that? Probably go a little warmer too. Let me see. Here we go. There we go. A little more natural skin tone. Okay, how's that? I'm not sure that the preview from the stream looks like what OBS has, but I'll let you guys dial me in. Can you hear the goober next door chainsawing down his tree in the middle of my live show? This mic picks up everything. If the cat farts in the next room, you're going to hear it. So enjoy that. Thanks, Gus. Thank you. You've been such a good friend. Oh, man. What time is it? We still got 4 minutes to sit here and pre-show. Yeah, volume is low, but I can crank mine up here. So it's still your retro machine. You're still saying it's low? Because I'm showing like mid-yellow to red over here. So I don't know. That's really weird. The levels inside of OBS must be kind of wonky. I don't want the level to be low. Of course, I could always just pull this down and remix it later, I guess. Bring this just a bit closer to me. Yes, now we're talking. I feel like totally pro now with my little popping thing. pop mic protector. But yeah, it's amazing. This I usually when I'm recording, I've always been using my little. Where is it? Gotta reach around my microphone now. Usually using my little Rode mic, and it works. It works really well, but it's very flat sounding. So I do this compression thing inside of DaVinci and all this other stuff to try to make it sound like it's got some timbre, But yeah. So this microphone though has it all built in. I mean, I do run a couple of little filters over it when I do a recording, but I don't have to do like 90% of what I had to do before. Can't really see my hecklefish now. There we go. You can see him from behind my spit guard. Lizard people. Big fan of the Wi-Files. So maybe AJ will catch my show. I catch his all the time. Probably not though. Probably not a big Asus ROG Ally guy. Yeah, for those of you who want to hear probably most of what we're going to talk about today, you could hear it again on the latest Passenger Seat Radio episode, passengerseatradio.com. Little cross plug there. They got a couple more minutes here. Passenger Seat Radio's been going on, I think we're closing in on, 20 years of shows, right? So now now I've got like, I think we're closing in on like 1,000 episodes of Passenger Seat Radio. Like if you can't get enough of my nonsense, I've got like 1,000 shows recorded for you. I swear I could feed the whole thing into AI and basically just completely recreate me, I think, at this point. Yeah, no wonder your actor has to be, or your president has to be an actor. He's got to look good on television. Yeah, the Wi-Files is absolutely fantastic. I mean, if it wasn't, that I need the ratings here, I'd say go watch that instead of this show. But yeah, I really like Wi-Files. I like the fish. I love hecklefish. I'll be a strict but fair lord. Absolutely the best. I don't have my mug here, but do I have my mug? No. I got mugs. I've got it all. Let's see. Can't wait to get my Ally so I can sell it for a Nintendo Switch. Hey, you can get like 2 or 3 Switches out of that. I'll tell you what. You really want a Switch? I've got like 5 of them here, and I need to get rid of one of them. So, you want to trade me for an Ally? I could send you 1 or 2 Switches, maybe. Just saying. And they're actually moddable still too. So, I don't have any extra OLEDs. My wife has that one, but I do happen to have, I have her old Switch, her OLED Switch. Neither one of those are going to go anywhere. But I've got mine, Brian's, and then I think a hack switch. I got a clean and a hack switch. So I've got like 5 switches in the house, and everything but my wife's OLED is gathering dust. So, excuse me. Ate something bad for dinner, I guess. All right. Well, it is 7 o'clock on the dot, and for those folks who've just tuned in, we have been doing a little mic check, a little mic setup. As you can see, I've got the pretentiousness going on in full swing now. So hopefully the audio quality will be a little bit better. We can increase the quality of these live streams a little bit more. People seem to like them, even if they catch them in replay. So, maybe once a week we'll do something like this. I really enjoy this sort of forum. I do. And I'm going to try to come up with a way of actually like taking your calls so you could come up and we'll bring you up on Discord or something and put you in the show, something like that. That'd be really cool. So today's the whole point is the night before the Asus Ally comes out, right? Now, what really what really pisses me off about this, listen, this isn't a big channel. You guys know I'm not a big channel. I don't get freebies, and I'm not on, I'm not on the same track as Linux Tech Tips. So everything, I have to buy everything out of pocket. I don't get anything early. Nobody sends me anything pre-release. Okay, every now and then, like from the retro gaming community, I'll get like Don Bluth's book or Warren Davis's book early, something like that. But no one's sending me an Asus Ally early. And I said early on that you guys should ignore anything you see on the Ally because these people are not your contemporaries. And what do I mean by that? I'm saying that if somebody who's getting an Ally sent to them for free and they want to stay in the good graces of Asus, they're going to, it can't help but mold your opinion, right? And so I've been telling people from the beginning, these people don't have production units. They don't have final firmware. They don't have the information you need. It's all speculation. If they're telling you that it's kicking the Steam Deck's butt, they don't know yet. I mean, all they can do is give you some basic early opinions. And I said, ETA Monroe, that's good. I should probably move. Hang on, let me see if I can move this over here. That way I don't have to keep looking over there. Perfect. Let's see. Reaching out to the peasants, very regal. Thank you. But no, I mean, until what you need are people that you trust, and you can trust small YouTubers. Not all of them, of course. I'm not saying that as a blanket statement, but YouTubers that are a little more down to earth and real, that don't have Surfshark VPN and Manscaper intros, those are the people that are still trying to build a base. They're the people that are going to probably give you what I'm coining as a guerrilla review. You don't want the ones that have been essentially hand-tuned by Asus. They send you a list of things they want you to talk about. You want the people that are in the trenches. Listen, if a little guy like me puts out $750, because that's what it is, $699, $50 in tax, and if you're paying $750 of your own money American, right? It's got to live up to something. If it's just another toy that gets sent to you in a plain brown wrapper, you don't have skin in the game. You're not invested in it. So if you don't like me, and this is what I tell people on Reddit all the time, you don't like me if I have some affect that you don't like, or I bother you, there's plenty of other guerrilla YouTubers out there, right, Chris? There's other guerrilla YouTubers out there that are going to give you a fair shake. And even the ones that I really like, I mean, there's some YouTubers, I love these guys. I love Retro Game Core. I love all of these people that are very earthy. And a lot of them are still buying their own equipment. They're still paying out. They're still trying to build a base. But a lot of these people are now, they're part of the machine. And I'm hoping I'm never going to be part of the machine. I mean, you can always say that, right? It's like, I don't want to live forever until you're going to die. And then all of a sudden you want to live forever, right? But yeah, I mean, as soon as you get on that gravy train, I think it sort of ruins some of your subjective nature. And I want my information from people. I want information from people who are in the trenches with me. Listen, I'm a comfortable middle-aged dude, right? I have a disposable income. Is $700, $750? Is that a tough nut to bust? Yeah. I mean, I'm doing fine, but that's still a lot of cash. I mean, even the $540 or whatever I paid with tax for the Steam Deck, that's not an impulse buy. You know, the Ambernick's an impulse buy. This was $90. Now, this is something you could buy, and if it doesn't work out for you, you can ditch it and not feel bad about it. But when you paid $750, you're in confirmation mode. If this doesn't work for me, I'm going to find something that does work for me as. It's not going to play the game I want, or it's not going to do the thing I want. By God, I'm going to hook it up to a Ukrainian chain gun, and I'm going to get something out of it. Earthy's a good way to describe it. Yeah. I mean, I like the salt of the earth people. You can't be too salt of the earth, though, because then you kind of make me crazy. But you guys know what I'm talking about. There's a couple of YouTubers that are almost too down to earth. At least, put on a clean shirt, maybe not wear the hat. Just saying. So, all right. So we're here, of course, tonight to talk about the Asus ROG Ally. And for those of you who missed out, I've been going to Best Buy. I've been a few times to Best Buy over the last couple weeks trying to get my hands on the kiosk, because a lot of Best Buys have had their kiosk up for weeks. Not my Best Buys. My Best Buys are still in the Stone Age. They're putting up Nintendo DS end caps still, I think. But they finally the one near me where I'm going to pick up my Ally tomorrow, they finally put the end cap up. And so I took my son with me, and we went to check it out. And I did present the video. And here, let me show you. Again, I'm not used to mixing media here, so bear with me if I screw this up. So this was the video that I shot and produced. It's very unproduced. The idea is that I wanted it to be very guerrilla style. What would somebody who's walking through Best Buy, they see this display and they walk up to it and they're putting their hands on it for the first time. They haven't sat and watched ETA Prime for an hour. This is their very first opinion and what they're going to see when they come up and see this thing. And I liked it. I love the kiosk.
Isn't this
the kiosk
cheating?
I thought was very, very cool. They spent a lot of time with it. But the unit itself, the first thing that I saw was Windows. And I'll be honest with you, I know a lot of people are excited that it's Windows.
First use Armory Crate.
Oh, is the volume high on that? I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't.
Thank you. I don't have a monitor on. I don't have a monitor on. There we go. Thanks, Chris. Again, sorry about that. So, you know, the first thing I saw was Windows, and I'll be honest with you, that to me that's almost a little bit on the repulsive side. Because when you take a look at the Steam Deck and, yeah, you know what? I'll go ahead and just mute it. When you look at the Steam Deck and that instantly engaging interface, and then you look at another Windows screen, there's some magic missing from it. I also mentioned that the analog sticks are extraordinarily loose. I mean, like almost like they're broken loose. The D-pad is very good, though. I will tell you that. The buttons are very clicky. I don't know how else to explain it. They're extraordinarily clicky, like a cheap Android controller would be. And I don't necessarily like the offsets of the analog sticks. I know a lot of people are going, yeah, it's more like an Xbox controller. Yeah, but that's when you're holding your hands close together, right? This is okay. Let me see if I can get this. This is okay when your hands are close together, but when they're farther apart and you've got to reach buttons at the same time, I don't know if that's necessarily going to work out well. You can also check out the stuttering. Watch the load times of Forza. Notice the incredible load times. Notice the hitching in the video playback. Notice the hitching in the game itself. It really struck me as somebody set this up that had no clue what the hell they were doing. Nobody did a firmware update. Nobody finished the install. Nobody applied any patches, right? All they did was they followed some instruction guide that Asus put together. Click it in here, click it in there. My son's being funny. Just click everything into place and turn it on and call it a day. Well, this isn't a commercial ready kiosk. As you can easily tell, if you just put your hands on it and play with it for a little tiny bit, you will realize that this thing's not ready for prime time. At least this unit. Now, we've all seen videos on YouTube of this device, and it's not this bad. So what they've really done is they've really screwed things up here. You know, let me just share something that I think. What else was I going to say about this thing? People have asked me about the touchscreen. I realize that the Steam Deck touchscreen is complete ass, and I will admit that freely. I am not a fan. I don't know if this one's any better because honestly, all I wanted to do was load up a damn game and try it, and I couldn't even get that far. But it would seem that the touchscreen may be a little bit better. Now, what about the screen, right? The screen is supposed to be the jaw-dropping moment where you go, OMG, this is absolutely the greatest screen ever. The Steam Deck screen sucks in comparison. You know, this is 1080p, blah, 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 et cetera, right? So this should be the marketing tool they should be using. But I'm going to be honest with you. Yes, the screen looks better. Okay, fine. The screen looks better than the Steam Decks, but is it miles better? No. In fact, what I'm gonna get everything set. Now, again, to be fair, this could be just a really crappy setup on the kiosk, because that to me is what we're talking about here. I believe that what we're seeing here is a very badly calibrated end cap. Now, are all Best Buys like this? God, I hope not. I mean, listen, I am a Steam Deck fan, to be sure. But the Ally, listen, there's a market for the Ally. We're going to talk about that tonight because I've got tons of things I want to talk about with regards to the Ally and its audience. There's an audience for it. I swear to you, there's an audience. Not necessarily there's some overlap with the Steam Deck, but not a lot. We'll get to that. Yeah, I mean, that's your face. Everyone's like, oh, the Ally's going to kick the Steam Deck's butt because it's in Best Buy. It's in a brick and mortar store. I can go down and touch it. I can go down and buy one today and not wait 3 weeks for Valve to ship it to me. Yeah, but dude, if you go and you play with that kiosk, you're not going to leave with one. I mean, that's how bad that kiosk was. And again, I don't think that kiosk is indicative of the final machine. But I don't know. Anyway, so yeah. So here's what Asus, if anybody's paying attention in Asus land, and you're not because I'm a little nobody show. I'm not, Linux tech tips, but you need to handle your kiosks like Coca-Cola handles their displays. Some people don't know this, but Coca-Cola, if you go in the grocery store and you see a Coca-Cola display, nobody at that store has touched that display. Nobody has made that display. Coca-Cola, as a vendor, has 100% control over every last positioning of every last bottle of Coke products. The grocery store, the reseller, is not allowed to touch it. Coke is absolutely bananas about the placement of their product, the display of their product, and how the product interacts with the customer. Now that, my friend, is what Asus needs to do with these displays. They need to send the Asus regional manager out there to go and check these guys out and make sure that they're calibrated, that the colors are right, that the screen is dialed in, that the updates have been made. Because what we're seeing at the kiosks are not going to sell Asus Allys. Let's say the day one update makes the Ally nearly perfect, little to no glitches, decent software, solid performances. Do you think you'll still use your deck or will it get shelved? Okay, great question. Let me tell you what about the Ally that I did not get to test because it was nailed to a stand, right? It was nailed to the end cap. I've got big man hands. Oops, I'm gonna move my microphone. I got these big man hands, okay? And the Steam Deck and my big man hands love each other. This to me, the weight's a little heavy, got it. But in my opinion, the ergonomics of this thing are absolutely fantastic. Let me show you what the ergonomics are not fantastic with. Ah, crap, my Switch is somewhere else. My hands cramp like nobody's business on the Switch. It's basically like doing this. You're crunching your hands like this to get to the Switch controls. The Ally, again, it was nailed down, so I can't really try it. But from a comfort level, aside from the weight, the Steam Deck is perfect. From what I was able to wrap my hands around the Ally when I did that video, when I tested it out at Best Buy, I still have that same kind of hand cramping thing going on because of the size. So what's going to happen? You're going to have to get a case with these big old grips on the back of it, which, listen, I've got that for the Switch. I do. You should see the things I clip the Switch into. Let's see if it's sitting around here somewhere. No, I don't have it sitting around here, but I hook these big old honking grips on the back of the Switch. It's absolutely terrible. And honestly, again, I'm not going to say yet, but based on my short experience with it at the kiosk at Best Buy, my hands are going to be uncomfortable holding the Ally for any length of time. That's going to make it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. It's like your camera on your phone. Is it the best camera possible? Is it the camera with the great telephoto lens and all that good stuff? No, but it's what you got with you, right? And it's sort of the same idea. Is you might put up with the Ally because it's what you got with you, but with the deck, I don't really have to. I don't have to compromise because there's nothing I hate worse than clipping plastic onto sexy little handheld game systems. I hate it. I actually have, my Ambernick's the same way, right? So with the Ambernick, this is, I don't know, you can't really see it, but this is not comfortable for a long period of time. It's not. It's lightweight and it's convenient. It slips in my pocket, but at the same time, I would not want to play Overwatch 2 on this for 3 hours or 2 hours and 20 minutes or whatever it is I get with my machine. So, yeah, for me, it's about comfort. And the ROG, I'm worried that the ROG's not going to be comfortable. Maybe it will be. It's hard to say. That's why I'm also not happy about them moving the joystick around. What do I play most of all on my deck? Overwatch 2. How much face button time do you need on Overwatch 2? Not a lot. So now, the face buttons, if the face buttons are what you use all the time, it's probably better that they're up and center like that. But if you're a twin stick shooter guy, FPS guy, I swear it's not going to be as comfortable. I could be wrong though. I need time to play. Mordrock. Hey dude, the 120 hertz will be perfect for some games like Pinball Effects. Yeah, no, I can't argue with that. The FreeSync is going to be great for external monitor support. Absolutely. Listen, I'm not trying to knock on the Ally. I've got plenty of great positive things to say about it. We just haven't gotten there yet. So we'll talk about the screen too. We'll break these things down. Newfie20 says Switch Joy-Cons are the worst. The Joy-Cons aren't that bad if you take them off the machine, right? If you slide them off the Switch and prop the Switch up on your desk, and you could just kind of lay them both in both hands and lay them on your lap like that, it's actually kind of cozy. I don't have a problem with that. I don't like the throw though. There's a lot of throw in the Joy-Cons, and they're very loose as well. The analog sticks in the Switch are pretty loose too. So if you like the loose analog sticks on the Switch, you're probably going to be fine with them on the Ally. But I'll tell you what, it was almost like they were broken. When I started using them, if you heard the video, I even mentioned it to Brian. I said, wow, these are super loose. And he's like, well, it's a demo unit. It gets used. And I was like, dude, this demo unit's been up for like 2 days. Nobody's been in here beating the crap out of this thing. So this is really how they are. And you'll also notice, if you're not watching guerrilla YouTubers, these people who've got this unit for free, or, whatever, have Asus ads running alongside their YouTube channel, they will brush it off. They'll be like, okay, yeah, the sticks are a little loose, but that's okay, blah, blah, blah. The buttons are a little clicky, but that's okay, blah, blah, blah. And they just sort of, just push it right off. And it's like, no. We need to talk about those. We really do. And maybe they're replaceable. I've replaced the joysticks in my deck. I put the Ghillie kits in there. Because I started to get a little bit of drift. I decided to be proactive, and I changed them out. If I can change out the ROG Allies and put in tighter sticks, great. Listen, it's $25 and a half hour of my time. Sure. Great. No problem. But the way they are now, I'm going to have trouble with that. And I'm going to have a lot of trouble bouncing between 3 systems, right? Because as a gamer, I play on the PC, I play on the Switch. I play on the PC, the deck, and then the Ally. It's going to be it's going to take me like 20 minutes to dial in each one as I move to it, which is kind of too bad. Hey, BJ, what's up, man? Long time no hear. Even if you take them out of the Switch, they're awful in terms of ergonomics, too small. Yeah, listen, they're too small, right? That's fine. That's okay. But again, if you clip them into a giant piece of plastic, they're fine. I don't want a handheld that I got to clip into a giant plastic shell to make it remotely comfortable. That's one of the things that blew my mind about the Steam Deck. I was the first person when I watched those early release videos when Valve was putting those out. I was like, dude, who's going to use that thing? It's huge. It's got to be heavy. Those ergonomics look horrifying. And that's when I had my friend Javier. He actually 3D printed me one. Maybe you remember it on the channel. I had a 3D full-size 2-spec mock-up of the Steam Deck sent to me. And it was all gold. It looked pretty bad. From a curing process or whatever it is. But once I put it in my head, it's like, I get it. Oh my God, I get it. And that's something that a lot of people, I think, that's part of the problem with Valve not having these units in demos or in stores. What they need to do is team up with GameStop, who God knows they need a win. Let's get Valve to get some ambassadors. Open the ambassador program up. Listen, I will tour my local GameStops. You're going to pay me, of course, because I'm not doing this for free. you want me, Valve, you want to hire me, I will go set up every Saturday. I'll go to a different GameStop in the area for 3 hours. You guys can advertise the crap out of it with GameStop. I will let people touch, hold, and play the Steam Deck. And believe me, it will make a difference. I mean, it looks too heavy, it looks too big, and it does not look ergonomic, but it is. It is a little bit heavy. I'm not going to lie to you there, but from my big man hands, and there are still people, I swear to God, if you go up on Reddit, not right now because they're all blacked out, but if you go to Reddit right now and search, there are people looking for bigger clip-ons for the deck. This thing is a monster, and they love to ask for these. I need bigger grips. I'm like, dude, how big are your hands? Look at this. I got these big monster hands. I don't need a grip. How do you need a grip? It's absolutely unbelievable. Anyway, my issue with the Joy-Cons, this is Womp Rats. My issue with Joy-Cons are the lack of girth that fits into my palms. Deck is super comfy. People don't understand it, and I get it, and it's not your fault. It's not your fault if you don't get it, because you can't put your hands on one unless you know somebody that's got one, or you just randomly grab one and take a chance with it. But, you know, one of the things about the, I'll do what I can working around my big pretentious microphone, is there's a couple of different ways to hold this thing. There's the palm hold, where you're basically resting the thing. What happened to my color? That's nutty. Where you're resting it on your palms, and then you just wrap your hands around. Then there's the squeeze, where like the ball of your hands actually push against that area, and then you wrap your hands around. And then there's also where you prop it up on a pillow. I also have the pinky maneuver. And so between those, I shift them. I shift them as I play. So I play 15 or 20 minutes in one position, shift my hands, go to another 15 or 20 minutes, shift my hands, and there you go. So, and that's all about the weight, right? If I prop it up on a pillow on my chest while I'm laying on the couch, no problem. But yeah, so I don't believe that the Ally is going to be nearly as comfortable to hold. And that's okay, because there's people with small hands out there too, right? I mean, when I say that there's an audience for the Ally, there is. And there's a huge audience for the deck. The difference is, do they overlap? Will somebody need to own both, or will they need to own one? Okay, I bet the Ally doesn't have a fan vent that blows a sweet nectar scent like the deck does. You know what sucks? Mine's worn out. My deck doesn't smell like it used to, which is too bad. For my Switch, I bought the Hori Split Pad Pro. The Joy-Cons attached to the Switch to fit your hands much better, but there's no rumble. There's no rumble. You got to always give something up with the Switch, right? You either got to have hand cramps, or you got to have the big old honking controllers to hook up to it, but then you have to pass up on your rumble, which honestly, you know, if we're going to talk about it, the HD rumble, while it's a gimmick, it's a pretty damn good one. I mean, have you ever tried those demos where that you basically hold it on in your palm, the Joy-Con, and you rock it back and forth, and it feels like there's balls rolling around in there? That's freaking insane. I don't think that gets nearly enough press. But yeah, I mean, again, I can play my Switch for long periods of time if I clamp it into one of those big, gigantic freaking plastic shells. My wife won't play without it either, and she's got smaller hands than me. All right, so let's take a look here. I'm going to move this out of the way, and let's see. So I thought we could sit here maybe and take a peek at the Ally's homepage. And here is, first of all, I think it's really funny that laptop is it's an editor's choice at laptop. Kind of says something. Where are the gaming? Where's the gaming endorsements? PC Mag, laptop. Just throwing that out there. Play all your games. That's very clever, by the way. Somebody in marketing deserves a gold star, because I think that's clever. And this, of course, is the ultimate play on the concept that Steam Deck is not a Windows-based machine. And so as such, yes, there are certain games that you can't play on it unless you install Windows 2, right? I mean, people say that's like, oh, well, only the Ally will play all my games. That's actually not true. If you want to boot off a Windows boot disk or replace SteamOS with Windows, you can play all your games on the Steam Deck too, but who wants that? Windows 11, to me, that's not a selling point. That's actually a not selling point. Anybody who actually runs Windows 11 on their home PC with the upgrades and the nonsense and ads starting to sneak into the little various places, internet or Edge sneakily taking away your default browser, all that nonsense. Microsoft's at it again with Windows 11. They laid really low for a while, and now they're back in like full monopoly force, sending you fake Bing results for Chrome. Apparently, Edge is harvesting every picture that you look at and sending it back to Microsoft. All sorts of fun stuff. Yeah, I can't wait to run Windows 11 on a handheld. That sounds great. Game Pass, don't even care. I realize that this is a huge selling point to people, but it is not a huge selling point to me. In fact, I don't subscribe to Game Pass. I don't have Xbox Live. I don't have Xbox Gold, Ultimate. I don't have PC Game Pass. I don't have any of that stuff. And I'm fine without it. I've got plenty to play. I got a huge backlog. And I actually, eventually I'll get around to being able to play those games and play them whenever I feel like it, not just when they decide to be on Game Pass for a while. Let's see. Womp Rats, that Win 11 thing was always my prime beef with the Ally. Now, yes, absolutely. The good part about Windows is if you know what you're doing, you can tame it. You can get rid of the telemetry. You can get rid of all the nonsense. You can mold it to what you need it to be. And more people have experience doing that. I can install Start 11. I can install, this tool or that tool. I can use Directory Opus on the Ally. I mean, there are advantages to Windows. I don't like Windows, but I love what I can run on Windows. I hate Windows as it is. It's a means to an end. I'm not excited to see it in my gaming system environment. No, I'm not either. And I'll tell you right now, you heard it. You probably didn't hear it here first, but you heard it from the horse's mouth. There will be a SteamOS install with full driver support on the Ally in 6 months, maybe even less, which means it's going to really be a Steam Deck 2.0 because you're going to get all the new hardware, but you're not going to get a few things. You're not going to get the trackpads. I don't use the trackpads anyway. You use them more than you think. That's something that I find, which is really interesting, is a lot of people say that I can't live without the trackpads and I don't need the trackpads. But there's a lot of times when those trackpads are actually useful. And I'm not talking about, simulating a Windows environment. I'm talking about just little stuff. Just doing little tiny things in desktop mode on the Steam Deck, for example. If you're into emulation, right? You'll miss those trackpads when you're running Amiga emulation or any sort of old computer software emulation that uses a mouse. You'll miss it, I promise. Let's see. Which is better to play Diablo 4 on? Well, I guess it depends on what you need. It'll be easier to install BlizzardNet and subsequently Diablo 4 on the Ally, as I think Chris is letting you know now. All third-party digital lockers are going to be easier on the Ally, which is, again, there's a market for that, right? Let's see. Honest question. With so much you like about it, why not just keep your deck? Well, another great question for science. You're funny. First off, I mean, I'm sort of a YouTube techie guy, right? It's really funny. If you look at some of the comments, every time that I get into something new, like before Steam Deck, I was into the Oculus Quest before it became the Meta Quest, right? And so a lot of people, it's so funny. People will comment and say, dude, I was one of your biggest fans when you were in this scene. And now I see that you're here. So I'm going to start just following you because you seem to be going where the trends are. And, I'm not trying to do that. Listen, I like new toys. I like fresh, fun little toys. And there are going to be things about the Ally that are going to be great. I can write software for the Ally. I've got some neat little tools that I've written for the Steam Deck, but you have to be running Windows, or you have to have a PC with Windows on it with SSHFS tied up to your Steam Deck. If the handheld runs Windows already, I can actually write software for the Ally. And I've been sitting on a tool to back up and synchronize game saves for people without cloud support on the deck. But I always get the nonsense. Well, there's no Linux version. Well, yeah, because I write like in Windows, dude. I mean, it doesn't work in Linux. Do you have a Mac port? No, I wrote it in Windows. Leave me alone. But with the Ally, I'll be able to actually write software and people can actually use it on device. So that's kind of cool. Listen, there's a lot of things about the Ally that I'm excited about. More hardware, right? Everyone likes a hardware upgrade. There are things that I cannot play on the deck that I would like to play. There are games that are just too heavy to have a great experience. Listen, Days Gone is a great example. Valheim is a great example. Almost all of the open world games are going to be improved by the additional hardware boost. And listen, I'm okay with that. I do have brand loyalty involved. I am a brand loyal kind of guy. You know, I'm a Wintel guy. I'm an NVIDIA GPU on my PC. I probably always will be. I'm an Intel PC guy. I do have some allegiances, but when it comes to my entertainment, I've gone back and forth. I started off when I left the Commodore line, the Commodore Amiga line in the early 1990s, and I finally got my first Pentium 75. Yeah, I mean, I became a PC gamer, quote, quote, PC gamer. But guess what? When consoles took a big, giant leap ahead of what the PC was doing, and they did for a period of time, when the Xbox 360 came out, and for a third of the price of a similarly equipped PC, I could go to the console, I did. And listen, I've had Xbox Ones, I've had 360s, I've had gaming handhelds. I just told you earlier, I've got 5 freaking Nintendo Switches kicking around the house. I go where I can play what I want, right? And yes, the Ally's going to let me play what I want, for sure. But it's also going to come with baggage, right? What I liked about the deck so much was it's a compromise. We're going to get rid of all the baggage for you. You're not going to be having to install freaking 2-hour updates, right? You're not going to have to worry about any of that nonsense. Yeah, there's still updates, but it's not like Windows updates. You're not going to have to worry about disabling telemetry. You're not going to have to worry about whether you can have a local account or you have to have a Microsoft account, right? I mean, it's a trade-off. There's a lot of things I like about the deck, but I'm very excited about certain things on the Ally too. Let's see. So the other thing that everybody needs to know, I got chastised because on my podcast, I incorrectly said that the Ally is an $800 product. I paid $759 for my Ally when I pre-ordered it. That's pretty close to $800. But I got cross-checked and said, dude, no, it's $599. Okay, for that model, but that model's not available. As you can see coming soon, you can't get it. The only model you can get is $700. And, you know, unless you live in Delaware or, you know, you live near a state line where you can get something with no tax, you're going to pay $40, $50 in tax. So yeah, that's closing in on $800. But listen, you know, the Steam Deck, I'll tell you right now, don't buy a 64 gigabyte Steam Deck. Buy a 256 gigabyte Steam Deck, upgrade it when you need to, case closed. So you're going to pay $540 plus tax for that. Still a couple $100 cheaper. And in a lot of ways, has some superior hardware stuff, extra buttons on the back. Terrible bumpers, though. The bumpers are my least favorite thing about the Steam Deck. They absolutely are ass. I'm hoping that the ones on the Ally are better. What do we got in the chat here? Should be interesting to see how easy getting around Windows will be without those trackpads. Somebody made a good point, not here, but you got a touchscreen. Yeah, and you got a touchscreen on the deck, too, and to be honest, it sucks. Using Windows on a touchscreen, now you could go into tablet mode, and tablet mode in the later versions of Windows is actually semi-usable, but based on using desktop mode on the deck with touchscreen only, you're going to miss the trackpads. I'm going to have mine plugged in right over here, right next to my Steam Deck, and it's going to be in a dock, and it's going to have a mouse and a keyboard attached to it, because I'm not going to play shenanigans with that thing. Of course, I will be doing that as part of my testing and everything else for videos for this channel. I'm gonna do it the hard way, but I guarantee people are going to be hooking up mice and keyboard to this thing where they resisted on the Steam Deck, which makes no sense to me. There are people that will do complicated tutorials on the Steam Deck, but refuse to buy an $8 keyboard to make it any easier for them. And I don't get that. But I guarantee for some reason on the Ally, it'll be fine. Oh no, I just put a keyboard and mouse on it. I'm fine. I don't miss the trackpads at all. Well, why didn't you put the mouse and keyboard on the deck too? Well, let's see. I'll assume you'd be able to use the analog sticks as a mouse control like you can on a deck. I believe I saw that in the demo. Or even compatibility. The deck's main problem for me is compatibility out of the box. Well, here's the thing. They never promised you a rose garden, right? I mean, I think there's some misplaced advertisement where the Steam Deck was concerned. And that was that it's really a computer, right? That marketing changed really, really fast. And I don't know if anybody really noticed it, but it started off with do what you want with it. It's yours. It's your PC. Do what you want with it. Then all of a sudden that started not getting talked about at all. It's almost like that whole concept of it's your PC, do what you want, sort of went away. That's also when the Steam Deck official dock discussion started going mute. And all of a sudden, well, we don't know when the dock's going to come out. Supply chain problems. Honestly, I don't believe that was the case at all. I think they realized that Steam Deck makes a crappy PC. I mean, I know there's people that disagree with me. God bless you. If you want to use KDE as a desktop PC, if you want to dual boot to Windows, if you want to do all of that nonsense, great. But you probably should just get an Ally. If what you want is a handheld that doubles as a computer, there's your Ally. I mean, the Ally is, again, like I said, there's a market for the Ally. The Ally, just the fact it has Windows. People who mod their games. There are people on the Steam Deck every single day on the Steam Deck subreddits. How do I mod my games? I need to mod my games. You'd think that nobody was happy with any game that wasn't modded on the PC based on the amount of traffic that we see on the Steam Deck subreddit. Guess what? Ally, you can use your Vortex, you can use Wii mods, all of those little batch files that you've been downloading, trying to figure out how to get them to work on the Steam Deck. It all works just lickety easy on that old Ally. So for people who want to play free-to-play whale games that have Windows anti-cheat, right? There's a market for that. Not a lot of people on the deck seem to be interested in Fortnite, but we always get a couple of people that every now and then show up. Most of them want to play Minecraft or some fan Pokemon game, neither of which are super easy to install. Maybe that's what BJ's referring to when we talk about compatibility. It's not that it's impossible, but you're going to have to work for it. It's not turnkey. Guess what? Go to the Ally. This is your package. This is your thing. If you want to mod games, if you want to play free-to-play whale games, this is it. This is your package right here. And there's nothing wrong with that. The deck's not for you, but the Ally probably is. And for those of you who are dying to have a PC along with your handheld, probably not the deck's probably not your best choice. The Ally though, external GPU, huh? Not bad. Now it's going to cost you $800, but hey, listen, we're not talking about money right now. The point is the Ally will make a decent extra PC or replacement PC. Tons of people on the subreddit. I'm thinking about replacing my gaming PC with a deck. And I'm sitting there going, oh God, please no more talk about that. And meanwhile, all the deck aficionados are going, yeah, do it. Yeah, it's great. I love it. It'll run Chrome. It'll run Firefox. Yeah. If you don't like that, just run Windows on it. I keep saying on Reddit, I say, I would rather have one less deck owner than to have one additional unhappy deck owner. Unhappy deck owners can do a lot of damage, but somebody who doesn't own a deck that probably shouldn't, let them go buy an Ally. Listen, we have an alternative now, and I think that's great. I'm not necessarily big into the whole competition's great. Let's keep Valve on their toes. Yeah, okay, fine, whatever. I understand competition, stifling innovation, yeah, blah, 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 blah. What I am saying, though, is they're different markets. There's a little bit of an overlap. I think there's a lot going for the Ally. Unless it's a pain, unless it cramps my hands in 15 minutes, and then it's going back to Best Buy. because I'm not going to play that game. If I want cramped hands, I'll play my Switch. So let's see what's on the promotional stuff here. True Windows 11 game machine comes bundled with 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate for free. Yeah, great. That and a Subway token, right? Featuring AMD's brand new Ryzen Z1 processor. By the way, the one that's coming out now, of course, is the most powerful version, which is great. So yeah, listen, I told you, I'm an NVIDIA guy. I don't know much about the AMD, graphics chips or CPUs or anything like that. So I'm just going to assume, based on what I've read and what I've been told, that this is a nice kick up from what we've got on the deck. Zero gravity thermal design. Don't you love? I love these sorts of, marketing terms. Dual fan design, keep the Ally cool and quiet in any orientation. I don't know where the any orientation thing came from, but letting you game your way. Now, I will tell you that I don't necessarily have a problem with heat on my Steam Deck. I know a lot of people complain about it, but I'm trying to figure out where people are holding the fan. Oh, Steam Deck gets too hot for me. How are you holding it? I mean, what do you got laying across your bare leg in shorts? Little European, those little skimpy bathing suits that the Europeans wear? I don't know. But I don't know. It was very hot to me. I don't know how you're holding it. But again, that's something I'll test, of course. Let's see. Armory crate. Good Lord. I like how this is a feature. Anybody who, and I own an Asus ROG PC, a pre-built PC. And I'll be honest with you, Armory crate's the first thing that I gut out of my machine when I rebuild it. Quick access to your games and essential settings in one place, customize key maps, tweak the lighting. Yeah, that lighting is going to be off the second that I can shut it off. For all from one app. Comfortable ergonomic design puts every button within easy reach. We've talked about that ad nauseum, so we'll see. A full HD 120 hertz high refresh rate with FreeSync Premium. Okay, so there's a lot going on in here, right? 120 hertz, right? We have 60 on the Steam Deck, which hasn't really been a problem for me because, let's be honest, most AAA games don't run at 60 frames anyway on the Steam Deck. You're lucky to get 4040, right? Or maybe into the 50s. 120 hertz refresh rate sounds like a great deal if the machine can actually push games at a resolution and frame rate that would take full advantage of. We shall see. FreeSync's great though. And again, the best part of this item is that if you hook it up to an external display, you are going to get a lot more benefit than if you don't. Which again, why'd you buy a handheld? Right? I mean, I get it. Again, there's a market for the Ally. Somebody who wants something that's 50-50, handheld versus PC mode. I can buy that. What else do we got here? Laptop awards. 4 stars from, what is that? Okay, well, at least gamevideo.com, first portable. Probably not a good idea to have broken links on your site, but whatever. Let's see. Yeah, these are all of our influencers that didn't pay a dime for it. Something to worry about. Let's take a look at the tech specs here. Go through here. Boy, it got quiet on the chat. Did I lose everybody or did I drive everybody off by not talking good enough about the Ally? So 11 home. Well, there's the first problem. I hate the home version of Windows. I'll probably be changing that key out for one of my pro keys. Let's see. Processor. Again, I can't really comment here. I don't really know what I'm looking at. I do know that one of the advantages of the Ally is much like the Switch, you are able to gain a performance boost if you're willing to tether to power. That to me, that's a huge plus in the Ally column. So I play Overwatch 2 every night on the couch. And guess what's right next to me on the couch? A plug-in, right? If my Steam Deck goes dead or it gets low, I just plug it in. If I'm traveling, I'm at a hotel, guess what's right next to the bed? I got something to plug it in. So the idea that there's a difference between performance and usage and whatnot, between powered and unpowered, or, on mains and not on mains, that's appealing to me. I like the idea that I can get that 30 watts if I'm willing to power up. Display. So here's another one of those great things, 7-inch display, which is actually a good size. At least that's what my wife tells me. It's a good size, but is it a good size for 1080? That remains to be seen. My guess is a lot of Ally people, especially the people that are going to be using it as their main machine, my guess is they're going to sit at 720 or 800p a lot of the time. We'll see how that turns out. IPS, glossy display, Gorilla Glass, 10-point multi-touch, all standard stuff. Again, the brightness and all of this stuff, the refresh rate, I have to see that on my own. To be honest, the demo kiosk machine that I was able to look at, I don't think it was well tuned. I don't think it was well set up, and as such, the display quality to me is marginally better than the deck, honestly. 16 gigabytes on board, storage. Okay, so this is nice. This is pretty nice. Same specs, I believe. Maybe it's PCIe 3 on the deck. So this storage is a nice upgrade. This, as Asus and their lackeys like to put out, this is the same as the highest model of the Steam Deck. But if you're buying a 512 gigabyte Steam Deck, you're kind of being a sucker, honestly, because if you're going to change it out, if you need more space, you buy the 64 and you immediately put a $100 SSD, a 1 terabyte $100 SSD in there. So yeah, this is nice out of the box. Good. Quite frankly, I think that 256 should be the bottom SKU of the Steam Deck, and 512 should be the top tier boutique style of it. Let's see. I/O ports, 3.5 millimeter combo jack, mobile interface, Type-C combo, display port, nice. It is actually Gen 2 USB. Okay, so we want to talk about the good stuff on the Ally, right? This is going to be fast as hell doing data transfers. That means doing things like moving games across the wire, running games off of external devices, all sorts of possibilities. And that's going to be super, super fast. I love that. And of course, you get the micro USB card reader. Again, that'll need some testing. Control. Okay, so let's see here. I could probably make this just a tad bigger, could I not? There we go, much better. Let's see. So your standard face buttons, D-pad. By the way, the D-pad felt great. Now I need to play some Mortal Kombat or something with it before I comment on how good the D-pad is. Right, there are certain apps that you use the D-pad on to tell how good it is, but it feels great. Steam Deck's not so much. Hall effect analog triggers, that's great. Bumpers, view button, menu button, command button, armory crate. 2 assignable grip buttons. This should have been 4. Now, I know a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of the rear grip buttons. I can't live without them at this point, and 2 may not be enough. You ask me if I'm going to be playing on my Steam Deck still? Maybe. 2 full-size analog sticks, HD haptics. Okay. Oh, it does have gyro. That's good. I've really gotten into gyro play lately, and I would be really sad if I had to leave that behind. So audio claims AI noise canceling technology. That's kind of cool. I have to see that in action. Dolby Atmos. Again, a lot of this stuff is advantageous if you're plugging this in as a computer. I'm doubting that the audio will be as good as the Steam Decks. I don't know how. I don't know what sort of voodoo black magic crap that they've got going on with the Steam Deck. It's the same stuff as they've got in the Index VR headset. The audio quality and everything is just unbelievable. And I don't know how they pull that off, but it's fantastic. Bluetooth 5.2, standard Wi-Fi 6E. One of the things that a lot of people have trouble with on the Steam Deck is Wi-Fi. Honestly, Wi-Fi seems to be a big problem for certain users on the Steam Deck. And I don't know if it's just crappy ISP-based hardware that they're using, if their networks aren't set up well. I've noticed mesh networks cause a lot of problems with the deck. They caused a lot of problems with the Oculus Quest too. I don't know. It must be using the same chip, and there's certain networking scenarios that the deck not very happy with. So hopefully this will be better. 40 watt hours battery. This is all pretty well known. 65 watt AC adapter. Great. We can share between the deck and the Ally. I don't know what Aura Sync is. I'm assuming that's the lighting stuff. Weight 1.34 pounds. That's nice. Let's be honest. Anything lighter is going to be great. Game Pass again. Don't care. The built-in fingerprint sensor. I know that people are really excited about this. And I get it. A lot of people, now me personally, I don't have anything locked down on my deck. I probably should, but I don't. But I do know a lot of people are interested in better security for their Steam Deck. There's only a couple of different possibilities. The fingerprint sensor apparently, and again, we'll be testing this right here on this channel, folks. Apparently, the power button and fingerprint sensor are almost seamless. So you're getting fingerprint sensor biometric security, but it's not costing you anything. You're going to put your finger on the button anyway. So you put your finger on the button to turn it on. Boom, you're logged in and you used something somewhat secure. Of course, those of you who are going to be using this for your PC, as a PC as well, docked, put on some sort of a dock and using it as a computer, obviously you're going to hit the space bar on your keyboard, and it's going to say, hey, you need to scan your fingerprints. Now you're going to have to reach over there and scan your fingerprint too. There's a nasty, crappy little plastic stand in the box. Apparently that's pretty funny. It's not even covered by warranty. That's so funny. Acts as a stand for the Ally. Of course, on this channel, we'll be picking up docks and stands and everything else for the Ally, and we'll review them for you. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. What else we got in here? So there's the specs to peep at. And let's see. Do we have anything fun in the gallery? Anything I can talk about? Just based on the demo that I played with. Again, it was so locked down, it was really hard to tell. I'll be curious to see. One of the things that I really couldn't tell that I wanted to tell on the demo was how deep are these triggers and how sensitive are they? One of the things that I cannot do on the Steam Deck that makes me completely mental, let me close this. I don't think we need this anymore anyway, is the fact that I can't hold down a trigger and rock my thumb, or rock my thumb. I was looking at my thumb. Rock my knuckle to hit the bumper. I can't. It doesn't work very well. Why would you want to do that? Well, you don't want to stop firing to throw a grenade, or you're using Moira on Overwatch 2 and you're spraying with one hand and you want to throw a ball. You have to kind of rock it up there. There's all sorts of reasons why that's useful, and it makes you more competitive. That's what I use two of the rear back paddles for on the Steam Deck. So I'm hoping that maybe just clicking in the analog sticks I can put on the back side, right? Put those, the L3 and R3 here on the back paddles, and that these bumpers are going to be solid enough where I don't think that they are very much on the deck. I'm actually rather not happy with the bumpers on the Steam Deck. Well, that's kind of it for the features and whatnot. The chat's very quiet. Honestly, I was kind of thinking we'd have more people. I was hoping we'd have some people that would show up that actually own these things, because apparently those who had them shipped to them were getting them early. And of course, there's always the possibility that somebody who's a bigger channel than me is actually watching this and might already have one that could kick in some information that I don't have here, because I don't have a lot of information, at least not till tomorrow. So let's see here. Yeah, there's a market for this piece of hardware, folks. And what I really like about this thing, outside of the things we already talked about, is that it gives us an opportunity to bring more people into handheld gaming, PC handheld gaming, without them having to compromise what they want. What I want is to not be running Windows, right? I like I like the simplicity and the speed and the agility of SteamOS. But that's me. I'm willing to trade certain games and certain functionality for that pleasure. Meanwhile, we all know that there are people that would gladly give up and gladly take any of the nonsense that Windows 11 brings with it in exchange for playing Destiny 2, right? I mean, that's an equitable trade for them. And honestly, there are going to be game players that are looking to play a certain class of game that the Ally is going to be a better choice from a hardware perspective. Better hardware, right? Faster hardware, more storage, there's all sorts of ways to look at it. And there is definitively an Ally audience out there. And that's great. Listen, I don't recommend Steam Decks to everybody. I mean, just like the Oculus Quest, I'll play 20 questions with you. If somebody says, is the Steam Deck worth it? Is it worth it in 2023? Is it still worth it? I'll ask him, what do you want to do? What are you looking to do with it? Are you wanting to play modded Skyrim? Maybe it's not the machine for you. Are you interested in playing Fortnite? Are you interested in playing Minecraft? Are you interested in playing this game or that game? Yeah, this is probably not the console for you, but the Ally is, and I can recommend it. I think these can be complementary systems. I think that there is a market on both sides, and I think I think, but I don't know. I'm no market analyst, but I think there's more people interested in what Valve has to offer. But that doesn't mean that there's not plenty of people to buy Allies and make this a success. And again, people are right. Having it in a brick and mortar shop, having it accessible to go down and buy on a whim instead of waiting 3 weeks. Sure. Yeah. I mean, there are many pluses. And one of the very first videos I'm going to do is the pros and cons of both machines stacked right next to each other. And we're going to have a frank discussion about it. I'm not going to blow smoke up your butt. I'm going to tell you exactly what works and what doesn't work on both machines. I even did a video of 10 things I don't like about the Steam Deck, and there were 10 things, probably a couple more I could have thrown in there. So yeah, it's evolving, and I think that we're going to have a good time with both handhelds as time moves on. And I think they will, the marketplace will dictate who goes where and when. And then there are people like me that'll have both, and we won't have to make a choice. We'll be able to tell you, hey, listen, if you want X, Y, and Z, go here. If you want A, B, and C, go over there. And I think there's room in the market. You know, one of the things about the pricing that a lot of people don't think about, let's say that this is $700, right? And without tax, tip, and gratuity, right? $700. So if you bought the 64 gigabyte SKU, which God please don't, is $400, throw in an additional $100 to add another. I mean, you could put a 512 in there, but listen, you're going to have the thing open. You might as well go ahead and replace that. Go with a terabyte while you're in there. That's $100. Throw in another $25 for the Hall Effect controller joystick replacements, right? $25-$30 after tax, tip, and gratuity. And stop. Stupid Google Home's nagging me. Yeah, I mean, you're starting to climb up pretty close. And if the screen can be dialed in and we can minimize the impact of Windows 11, trust me, there are going to be such great tools for neutering the living crap out of Windows on the Ally. And like I said, 6 months or less, SteamOS will be running full force, full drivers, full everything on the Ally, and you're not going to have to choose. If you want to run SteamOS and get the benefit of the better hardware, you're going to be able to get it right here on the Ally. If you're pinched for cash, there's always that $399 SKU. God help you to get that Steam Deck. Well, listen, we've been at this for an hour, and I have a feeling that all the interest in this show has already dried up as the chat is completely dead right now. But then again, sometimes the chat just goes dead, and I don't know why that is, but that's the way it is. Okay, well, listen, I appreciate everybody coming in on a Monday night. I know it's a school night, work night, whatever. And I appreciate everybody stopping in and checking out the video. What do we got here? Playing since deck launch, very happy with the performance and all it offers. I think Ally would be move people into handheld gaming, and competition is good for consumers. My Ally will be here tomorrow. I'm very excited. Yeah, me too. I'm excited. Listen, I was very disappointed by the kiosk. There's absolutely no way that I can sugarcoat the experience that I had there. There's no way to make that look good. You can't put lipstick on a pig, right? I do not believe that that kiosk was indicative of the final experience, and I'm very excited to be able to run it through and tell you, if you want to play game X, Y, and Z, the Ally is your guy. Valheim, I know, is going to be better on it because it has to be, because it's not very good on deck, and I love Valheim. I would love to sit and play Valheim on the couch. I'm not going to play it on the deck. I've got these nice intricate bases that I build, and when you can start getting to 15, 20 FPS, you get a giant skeleton attack from the forest at 15 FPS, and you're trying to pick them off with a bow and arrow? No. But I bet it'll be a lot of fun on the Ally, right? Thank you, Ruthless Squad, for coming in here at the end of the show here and giving us a little send-off. I appreciate that a lot. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know when I'm going to get the call tomorrow from Best Buy, but I'm hoping tomorrow night we'll be able to maybe do a little live unboxing, or maybe I'll just take the entire night and sequester myself, get everything set up, get everything dialed in, get it ready in fighting what's the word I'm looking for here? Fighting mode, fighting condition, and then we'll save the good heavy stuff for the weekend. And again, of course, leave your comments, right? This will be a replay later. Leave your comments. What do you want to see? How do you want me to mono these two guys? I know a lot of people have done it already, but I'm going to make sure I'm going to have a production unit with the most current firmware. I'm going to have everything dialed in. I'm going to have Windows gimped down within an inch of its life, and I'll be able to tell you. I'll be able to tell you how well this guy works out. All right, well, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks again, everybody, for stopping in. I'm Shane R. Monroe. If you like what you saw, if you like this sort of video, and you've been following along this last year, appreciate your like, your sub. Of course, it means everything to me. We're doing really, really well. We passed 8,000 subscribers. I'm totally humbled. I never really thought that this channel would ever get there, so I appreciate that. Notifications, of course. Leave comments. All that stuff helps out. I appreciate it a lot. All right. So that's it. Again, thanks everybody for stopping in on the live chat. It is appreciated. I'm Shane R. Monroe. We'll see you next time.